So what inspired, or now shifting to part 3 here, what inspired the creation of the FLFE EMF mitigation program? And again, I'm going to put down here, follow the evidence where it leads and be prepared for surprises. And this is the description that was prepared by Jeff for the research team to update me and others about how FLFE got into this area in the first place. It was a surprise. And they are very good detectives, first-rate detectives. Once a week, the FLF team uses their tools, kinesiology, to measure the level of consciousness, called LOC, of all the properties on the FLFE property service. In 2017, Jeff writes, we discovered several properties where the LOC had lowered from the previous specified level to lower level of consciousness, despite having FLFE service there. At the same time, we heard from several FLFE customers who explained that they felt something had changed and they didn't feel as good on the FLFE service as they had previously. We spoke to all of these customers to explore what changes were happening in their environments. They were good detectives. They were trying to find out, well, gee, what could be causing these anomalous effects? We learned that for each one, there was a change that increased the electrical and/or magnetic fields near them. We heard about nearby new cell towers, newly installed smart meters for remotely reading gas and electric and meters, and in some cases, this is wording, and in some cases, new home Wi-Fi routers that were stronger. Clayton and Jeffrey discovered that these influences were lowering the LOC of these environments. That was their hypothesis. FLFE's expertise is in consciousness fields and the measurement of them. So this was a new lens in which they looked at the EMF influences. FLFE has a promise, maintaining a high consciousness field to a certain level for FLFE subscribers. So these customers received the exploratory service until a solution was found. So they began to see whether they could raise the level by manipulating the programs. And this is described on the website, that process. Now, once a solution was found, Clayton and Jeffrey discussed with the FLFE community on webinars that a beta test to mitigate the consciousness lowering effects of EMFs on the FLFE environment was in progress. A number of self-identified EMF sensitives came forward spontaneously and asked to be on the beta test. They wanted to try the new exploratory service. A before and after survey was conducted with this group. The after survey was 14 days. So it was a brief 14-day survey experiences. And what Jeff wrote was the experiences experienced more energy, less fatigue, better sleep, a decreased feeling of stress, decreased anxiety, and increased cognitive functioning, less brain fog. That's what people reported. And of course, that's what Jeff and Clayton do. They follow the data. So these preliminary results were put on the website. They were indicated as being preliminary. They didn't have the language phase 1 yet. There were 56 people who filled out the questionnaire. And Maria, as she's wont to do, made those diagrams that were easy to read, like the ones we saw earlier. So you can see the physical health effects. You can tell this is more energy, better sleep, better digestion, decreased headaches, decreased heart palpitations. And also, I mean, these are the ones that she picked, the list. And the psychological effects were calmer mental clarity, improved mood, improved short-term memory, and decreased anxiety and depression. And these were actually the items that people reported checking, the order with which the items were asked, and how they appeared in the data. But you'll notice these were not rank ordered, and these were not rank ordered. So I said, well, gee, what happens if we do the following? We, meaning me. We follow what the Hugo and Patrick study did. We combined the physical symptom items and the psychological symptom items from that FLF EMF first phase 1 experiment. And we then rank order them. And when I did that, I was surprised to see a very striking correspondence. Poor quality of sleep being improved was number one for the Netherlands study, and it was number 3 out of 20 or 30 items, whatever that final number was. Again, more energy, less fatigue. There it is. Both were number 2. Decreased feelings of stress. That's like restlessness. And decreased anxiety. Less or no headaches. There were, I don't remember the heart. The heart rhythm was not shown in this one, but it was shown here. The critical thing was that the stress, the fatigue, the sleep, and the headaches, those kind of 5 areas were clearly replicated between these 2 conditions. And that's interesting and potentially important. So based on this, they also looked at people's spontaneous comments. And numbers just don't convey what people's real experiences are. There's no substitute for an actual report. It's like describing a painting is not the same thing as seeing a painting, or describing a meal is, having a meal. I mean, so these are the actual descriptions of, as opposed to the numbers. So anyway, here we go. I was living where there were high voltage power lines plus my router. I was experiencing symptoms at night. It felt like every cell in my body was vibrating at a really fast pace. I was experiencing fear, anxiety, minor depression, poor sleep. From the very first night with the EMF mitigation program on my cabin, all the symptoms went away. This is not mitigation. This is elimination. I had the best sleep. My body felt at peace. It was the first time in a few years that I felt 0 symptoms. Truly a miracle for me. I just spent the first few nights on the program in such peaceful bliss at how wonderful it is to be feeling in a healthy body again. Now, yes, this is an extreme positive response, but that's what people were reporting. Not every person, quite the contrary, but enough people were that you have to look at this seriously. So here's another one. I've noticed less headaches, decreased digestive issues, a sense of calm and peace, and the best sleep ever. The biggest thing I've noticed is more restful sleep, and I've also had more energy to do things. I love this one. Here, hello everyone at FLFE. The biggest change we have seen is in sleep and rest. Pat and I are 76 and 81 respectively, and we usually have a nap each afternoon of 35 to 40 minutes. Since the mitigation program, it has gone to 1.5 to 2 hours, so they're having more complete naps. We also find we get through our daily chores with more energy and find it easier to relax afterward. Now we don't anticipate sleeping 2 hours each afternoon forever, but maybe we're in a catch-up phase, please. Life is good, but even better on FLFE. Thanks so much to all of you. Listen to this. The other night I was laying in bed and thought sometimes feels different. Something feels different better. I wonder if they started that EMF mitigation thing. Now, here was a person who didn't know whether the program started. In the morning, after a great night's sleep, I found the email saying it had started. It's a perfect kind of control condition. If I eat sugar, even a tiny drop in something, I still don't sleep, but otherwise I say my sleep is better, noticeably better. So you can do things that are going to force interfere with the benefit effects. I also feel like even we've had some emotions flying around here once or twice, the whole family is still a bit calmer. This could be by imagination, but I truly don't think so. Also, when I tune in, I feel it. It feels like FLFE, but calmer, toned down or something. Clearly a sensitive person. Thank you for bringing this extra layer of protection to us. And finally, listen to this one. The best sleep in forever. On the first night, I was shocked at the difference the program made. I wasn't the only one in my home who experienced deep sleep. Other family members had no idea about the program, but all felt the improvement. Maybe it's a safe side benefit of better sleep, but my home is so peaceful now. Our environment feels like a loving, warm hug.